Okay, so now we're starting layout 8. Now let's talk about the sketch and the dimensions just so that we have that out of the way. So I'm going to use these two, they look like corkboard as the background. And this is another layout that I happen to have two of the same pattern paper. And then the kind of tan looking pattern paper, I'm going to cut it down to 11 inches. And then I'm going to have one side that's going to be 3 by 11 and the other side on page 2 is 9 by 11. So that makes up the 12 inches. So basically the page 1 is 3 by 11, page 2 is 9 by 11. The pink pattern paper is 8 inches. And then what I did was I just cut about maybe by 2 inches, so I didn't waste a lot of the paper. So I did that times 2 for page 2, and for page 1 it's 1 by 11. And then I'm going to take these cardstock and I'm going to mat the photos that are on page 2. So my photos on page 2 are 4 by 4s, and my pictures on page 1 were supposed to be all 3 4 by 6, but I didn't have a third one. So this is what I did. I took a 4 by 4 and I'm going to put it at the bottom of the page, and then the 2-inch gap that is going to be left, I'm going to put an embellishment cluster there. So even though I did the sketch myself, as I'm putting these pages together, I got to make it fit what I have as pictures. And this page is about Times Square, and when I looked at it, when I looked at my pictures, I didn't have a third one that I wanted to put on this page. So this is where I'm cutting my two little strips. So it's kind of faking that it goes all the way underneath, but I didn't need to use a big strip of pattern paper like that. I can keep that pink pattern paper for something else. So I'm going to start gluing my pictures already. So there is my 2 4 by 6 and my 4 by 4. I'm going to put my strip that is 3 by 10. At this point, I hadn't cut it down. I don't know. I wasn't kind of thinking. I just kind of put it down, and then I went, oh, that doesn't match with the other side. So I am going to cut it down eventually. I'm going to take a piece of that pink cardstock. I'm going to cut off about 1/4 of an inch. So it's going to act as my border that usually I would use, some washi tape. So, and then I'm also going to put a 1-inch strip of that pink pattern paper. And the reason I don't cut stuff off right away is because once you cut it, it's cut. So while I'm thinking about what I want to do and how I'm going to fix that 2-inch, gap, I'm not going to cut down my pattern paper. But as you saw, I kind of pointed to the other side because, yes, I do talk to myself as I'm scrapbooking. And, I probably went, oh, if I put this right flush to the 12 inches, it's not going to match the other side. So, but before I cut it, I'm trying to see how I'm going to fix that 2-inch gap. And the perfect way was to use one of those frames. And the reason that I chose the dark pink frame instead of the other one, it said love at the bottom. And one of my embellishments with the little camera, it said click with love. So what I did was I just overlapped the frame over the love that was on that little card, and then just made sure that the love on the frame completed that little phrase. And the pattern on that little camera is the exact same pattern that is on the frame. So it worked out perfectly. So on these 2-page layout, I have only 3 embellishment clusters, but 2 of them are really big, and that's why I ended up only doing 2. I had 2 frames that I had put with this page kit or page kits, and I'm going to end up using both of them. As I mentioned at the beginning of this class, is I absolutely love using frames as the beginning or an embellishment foundation. So I've used them quite a bit in these 10-page spreads as the beginning of embellishment foundation. I just find that not only is it a foundation for the cluster, but it also frames it at the same time, which I absolutely love. Okay, so now I've cut down the papers on page 1 to coordinate with the pages on page 2 so that it looks, when they're butted up against each other, that it's just one piece of pattern paper that was kind of continuous going underneath the photos and popping out on page 2. Now that that's done, like I said, the dilemma now is to cover up that hole, and that is on page 1 because my photo is only 4x4. And I want to make sure that I don't see any of that brown pattern paper, because that's really going to pop and you're really going to be able to see it. So I'm trying to find some embellishments to kind of fill in that frame. And I'm going to cut down that frame also because there's no sense wasting the part of the frame that goes underneath the photos, because then I can use it somewhere else on this layout or on another layout. So you're going to see here, I'm going to cut off the right side of the frame, and this is where I put it so that it says click with love, but using the love that is on the frame. And then the leftover of that frame, I'm going to put it with embellishment number 3. And that's what I like. One, it's not that, I don't have enough embellishments or anything like that, but when you're doing embellishments on a same page and you're trying to make it so that all the embellishment looks like, they belong together, taking an embellishment and cutting it in half, or keeping a little bit for another embellishment, makes it that they look like they belong together. I have quite a bit of chipboard embellishments that I'm going to use on this layout to add some texture to these clusters. And I make sure that I put at least one chipboard element in each of the clusters. There was quite a bit of flowers in this page kit that I had thrown with this page kit. And again, when I put these page kits together, I just make sure that I have a ton of embellishment. And this is why. When I start putting these embellishment clusters together, I don't know if I'm going to want to put a ton of embellishments in one cluster, or sometimes I'm feeling a little frugal, or the page feels like it doesn't call for that much embellishments. And then I can use less or use more, but at least I have the option. And I throw it in my little container, and then when I get to some layer layouts, I can use them again. And I believe I mentioned it before, but when I put my page kits together, my pattern paper kits together, I ended up putting 13 together instead of 10, because that is probably one of my favorite things to do, is putting pattern papers together. And once I get going, I can't stop. So by the time I realized I had 13 page kits together with the pattern paper, so I thought, I might as well add some embellishments. I can, do these pages some other time, but I decided to throw it with this class. So at the very beginning, you're going to get 10 page kits or 10 sketches with the layouts done. And then within the next 2 weeks, you're going to get 4 more using the same sketches. Maybe I'll throw in an extra sketch. We will see. So maybe one of them I'll do one extra sketch. And then the other ones we'll use the same sketches and see how different we can make the layouts look. I figured, what? I put the pattern paper and the embellishments together with this class, and let's make it 28 pages that you're going to get instead of 20. So that's 3 of the extra pages. The 4th one is I'm going to wait till everything is done so that we have 13 double page spread done. And I'm going to go through with you. I'm going to do it live. I'll probably do it on YouTube, and I'll send you guys a link to the private YouTube link, and we will choose the page kit together. So I'll go through whatever's left of the pattern paper, whatever's left of the embellishments. We'll pull the page kit together, choose our pictures, and put the page together using a sketch. And then that will give you the opportunity, will give us the opportunity to chat back and forth, but also if you have any questions, it'll be live. So it's always a ton of fun. That's probably one of my favorite things to do, is to do some live videos and get to chat with you guys. And if you're not able to make it live, don't worry, YouTube saves the video. So if you have the link, you'll be able to go and watch it at your leisure. Or if you want to watch it again, it'll be there for you guys to watch. Now let's talk a little bit of the story, and then we'll talk about the embellishment clusters. So this is all pictures that we took at Times Square. I loved Times Square. And it's funny because usually I don't like places that are super busy. I don't like the chaos and everything. But for whatever reason, I absolutely loved it. Every time we went, just the energy that is at Times Square and everything that is going on, and I just absolutely loved it. So 4 or 3 of the photos are some selfies, and if we're just acting absolutely silly. And then one of the pictures, while we were taking those selfies and being absolutely crazy, our other friend was being accosted by these people that dress up in, there was Spider-Man, Mickey Mouse, and the Hulk, and they were all trying to get her to pay, to take pictures with them. And she only wanted a picture with Spider-Man, but they kept going into the picture and then, expecting to be, given some money for it. And she was like, no, I just wanted Spider-Man, you guys. And, kept coming into the picture because her kids are big Spider-Man fans. And being the true friends that we are, we just let her fend by herself, and we went and got some selfies just not far from her. But we thought it was hilarious that they were being quite, not aggressive, but you know what I mean? Like they really wanted to make some money, I guess. And now I'm going to add Times Square right next to that big cluster. So I ended up putting in that biggest cluster. I got the frame. I had that little die cut that said "Click with Love," and I had a die cut of flowers, a chipboard doily, and a little bird that I put some foam tape in behind. I added some enamel dots. The second one on page 1, again using part of that frame, die cut, doily, a leaf, a puffy sticker, and some enamel dots. The third one is using that second frame, a chipboard, stickers with the flowers, a bunch of flowers in behind, a circle puffy sticker that says "My favorite," and a word sticker that says "Do amazing things," and then some enamel dots. And here are some close-ups of all the embellishment clusters, and our photo count is at 68.